This fat snake took a deep breath and dove into the water. It only needed to hold on for half an hour to achieve the legendary artificial rainfall. The reason these three snakes tried so hard to bring rain was because the incense offerings from the villagers could turn them into powerful demons and even into legendary immortals. In fact, the villagers' crops didn't depend on rainfall because there used to be a river in the village, but a year ago, a huge boulder suddenly fell from the sky, blocking the only water source. The villagers, hoping the Dragon King would bring rain, began offering sacrifices. Although the Dragon King didn't care for such offerings, the three little snake demons in the cave craved them. They secretly sneaked into the Dragon King's temple. With the villagers' incense offerings, they believed it wouldn't be long before they became the immortals they dreamed of. Batch after batch of offerings were delivered, but not a single drop of rain fell. So the villagers planned to tear down the Dragon King's temple, thinking it was a waste of food to keep it. This panicked the three little snake demons. If the temple was torn down, where would they eat incense offerings? So the eldest snake quickly thought of pretending to be the Dragon King, but its weak voice was completely drowned out by the villagers' angry shouts. At the critical moment, the third snake's belly came to the rescue. The villagers mistook it for thunder and believed the Dragon King was truly manifesting. They hurried to bring out pots and pans to collect water, but the three little demons knew no rain-making magic. When the villagers' patience ran out, they shouted again to tear down the temple. The eldest snake's words instantly silenced the villagers. The two sides remained in a standoff. Then someone in the crowd nudged the man in front. The eldest snake's promise temporarily saved the temple, but also pushed the three brothers to a dead end. To fulfill the promise, they stole a bucket at night and secretly carried water to irrigate the fields.
当年我妈送我出来学妖术，可没想着让我变成个扁的给人挑水啊！
蛇能屈能伸的蛇。哎呦喂，这不是龙王爷吗？
太丢人了，我不干了。
The eldest snake then painted a grand vision, describing how they would be worshipped by thousands once immortal, with endless incense and delicious food. Hearing this, the second and third snakes were motivated again. Their thinking was simple. With water came crops, with crops came full stomachs, and with full stomachs came incense offerings. Eventually, they could transform into dragons. While the three snakes worked hard, a little girl discovered them. The three brothers panicked when the villagers arrived, and quickly transformed into ropes and a carrying pole, but the third snake was too fat, and could only turn into a pile of dung. The villagers wondered whether they were demons or gods. One man insisted they were demons. Otherwise, why would they water weeds? Would the Dragon King not know the difference between weeds and crops? After the villagers left, the third snake began doubting its life. They had almost been caught this time. It couldn't understand why demons risked their lives to become immortals. At that moment, a pile of smashed and discarded statues caught their attention. Staring at the scene before him, the eldest snake fell into deep contemplation. To become immortals, they had to do real deeds for the villagers. Otherwise, no matter how grand the statues were, they would eventually be abandoned. So the eldest told the third snake to dive into the river and gulp water. Soon it swelled into a giant water ball. Then it crawled to the mountaintop. The second snake leapt into the air and stomped precisely on the third. Water poured down like rain onto the villagers' heads, but the amount was pitifully small. It turned out the third snake was greedy and didn't want to spit out the fish it had swallowed. Thanks to this rainfall, the villagers offered incense more diligently, and the three brothers, benefiting from it, worked harder. They were no longer clumsy water carriers, but became the guardians of the village. Every day they created rain in new ways for the crops, and even took on pest control.
我的庄稼你也敢吃？别踩我庄稼！
Seeing the thriving fields, they felt genuine joy and pride, and began to develop real affection for the land. Soon the villagers enjoyed a great harvest. This time they spared no expense. Not only were the rituals grand, but they also prepared fine offerings, and stronger incense for the three snake demons. Nourished by incense, their bodies changed in wondrous ways. They grew horns, and even hands and feet. Through their own efforts, the three snake demons were step by step realizing their dream of becoming dragons. The little girl who once saw their true forms no longer thought of them as demons. Her tender hand offering a small flower proved everything. In her heart, they were already the true Dragon Kings.
龙王爷，我们给您重塑金身了。大哥，是给我们的吗？
你俩真没见过世面的样。
But the golden statue brought not honor, but thunderous roars in their ears. It was the omen of the Dragon King's wrath. Yet the three snakes didn't understand. They thought it was heaven sending escorts for them, until lightning struck the temple, and their true forms were exposed to the villagers.
大唐凡人，竟敢供奉妖怪！
The three brothers couldn't understand. They had done so many good deeds for the villagers, yet were still called demons. But the Dragon King's fury left no time to think. One misstep could cost their lives. Even as the third snake fled, it didn't abandon the temple plaque. The eldest snake accidentally saw the little girl. From her eyes, it saw trust and expectation. So while the second and third snakes hid in the cave from lightning, the eldest stopped running. It could have hidden too, and later found another village for incense. It could have survived, but it chose not to. Looking back at the village they had protected, now engulfed in flames, and recalling the girl's hopeful eyes, it decided to act for the villagers. The eldest carried the temple plaque and climbed onto the boulder. Titles no longer mattered, so it hurled the plaque down the mountain to borrow the Dragon King's thunderous wrath to shatter the cursed boulder. This would extinguish the village fire and restore the water source. The boulder began to crack under the lightning strikes. The villagers' gaze gave it courage, but just as success was near, the eldest was crushed by a falling rock. As deadly lightning approached, the second and third snakes rushed out of the cave without hesitation. They saved their big brother with all their strength, but were struck by the merciless lightning themselves.
大哥，你怎么还不跑啊？
因为你小子还压着我呢。
那我以后少吃一点。
It is said snakes cannot cry, but at that moment it was a true dragon. The river flowed again, and the drought-stricken village welcomed long-awaited rain. It looked up at the great dragon, with no fear in its eyes. Silent resistance was the loudest cry. As blinding white light flashed, the ending was sealed. The little girl's eyes were full of confusion. Their bodies fell with the boulder, and with it the stone that had fallen from the sky. The river eventually flooded the village and the fields. From the rooftop, the little girl watched the bodies drift downstream and asked her question.
那到底是什么？
你看，它们像什么？
我看它们像神仙。
Soon after, the village was reborn. The days of drought became history. With the river's irrigation, everything flourished again. The villagers rebuilt the Dragon King's temple, but this time, they had their own Dragon King.
哎，你们村这龙怎么没有脚啊？
我们村的龙就是没有脚的。